station. The only thing that should take the station off the air is that the power is down, and we have backup generators for that stuff. But now we've got these boxes at my station.
Wow.
We can push
Well, look, any engineer will tell you, under the federal reg, it's got to be wired in as the final piece. It has to be in control at the tower and at the station. Incredible, sir. God bless the general manager there, name not to be mentioned here. This is the point we've gotten to here in this country. And email us at showtips@infowars.com. If you're a program director and want to tell us about this, or if you're a listener and have witnessed it, we'll do a little bit more with Mancow than our next guest back in 60 seconds. The bottom line here is this. The private corporate interests that are funding Al-Qaeda, funding the Communist Chinese and others, don't want freedom. They want a monopoly. They want total power. They want the life extension technologies. They want it all. They're using our money to militarize police, to surveil us illegally, to launch drones against us, to put EAS systems in to take over radio, TV, computers, cell phones, and force their messages on your site. They're talking about redirecting all your websites to whitehouse.gov. This is in the news. And when there's a backlash to the drones, I'm going to cover this later, they come out and say there are no drones. I mean, literally over 500 articles the last week that I just seem to just now notice, and they're saying I'm a liar and all this. There's no drones, even though they all announced it. I've seen them. It's on the news. They're arming them. They're arresting people with them. Again, it's total disdain. They're executing their program. They're lying right to our face. This isn't our government. It's been taken over. And now, when we talk about FEMA camps and emergency centers, they're not just erasing it off the TiVo. They're not just blocking it off True TV. They're scrambling people's radio shows, selectively testing to see what they can do ahead of a total collapse. Mancow, we got about 4 minutes left. You've got the floor with points on this, but you're not joking. You brought this up, and you were flooded with stations and listeners and program directors. And I mean, this is real. This is happening.
Don't believe your own eyes. Don't believe your ears. There's nothing to see here. Just believe whatever the government tells you. Just believe whatever the government tells you.
Next message.
Yeah, Mancow, listen to what it sounds like when they're scrambling my station when you say important stuff. Listen.
When Alex and I talk, they scramble it. It's something else. You heard one of the program directors, one of the general managers earlier, 60-plus, suits, business people have contacted me, but thousands of regular folk have called me. What are they so afraid of the American people hearing? A TSA agent was getting grasped and groped by a passenger in Florida yesterday. A woman groped back, and that person's now in jail for sexual assault. What they do is okay. They can do whatever they want. They can give guns, and little kids can be gunned down in Mexico. We can provide the guns. That's fine. We can't have a gun to protect ourselves. I live in Chicago. It's worse in Afghanistan right now. The Tribune is saying, and others are saying, that's a race war going on. I can't protect myself. My wife can't have a gun to protect herself. But we have guns for drug lords. The double standard of these people. Listen to Joe Biden. Can I play the Joe Biden clip of him all worked up?
Sure.
I mean, radical Islam has risen up in Egypt.
Well, the globalists are financing it.
It's unbelievable. And now we're going to go into Syria. Why? These people want us dead. Listen to this. Our dollars, when something goes wrong, well, they need more of our money, right? A big tax, when they give you a big tax discounter, it's $30. A minor tax increase cost me $800. I'm really sick of their double standard.
Play that clip, Mancow.
Okay.
I just described you. You're the one.
Here he is talking to government workers.
Possible. We owe you. You shouldn't be vilified. You provide the safe neighborhoods. You provide the good schools. You provide the school lunch program. You provide the daycare centers. You provide the hospitals. You provide the roads. You provide.
They are God.
The government, the glorious
They're
government.
the federal family. They're
Yes.
the federal family, as Janet calls it.
I say it's you and I working hard, and our tax dollars, they have forgotten. I mean, the cops with the batons and a boot on the back of someone's neck, they have forgotten who's paying them. We're the boss. How did we let them become, really, why are we their servants? What has happened, Alex?
The attack drones are launched, the armored pillboxes, the 400
If you
plus.
say something they don't like, they just cut it out.
I tell you, this is the future.
I don't even know if we're on right now, Alex.
Some areas they're probably testing the censorship. We've got to push back against this. Eric Mancow Muller of Mancow.com will continue to investigate this.
Keep fighting.
And come back soon to give us the findings of your investigation.
Don't stop fighting, Alex.
All right, we've entered the Mancow Madhouse. Thank you, sir. You too. All right, we're going to look at medical tyranny straight ahead, drones, the police state, executive privilege on Fast and Furious, and war in Syria. The Spetsnaz are going in. Stay with us. And nowadays, a lot of people think that's stupid, and that's why our country's going to hell in a handbasket. Put up with anything. Armed drones in the skies against us. We've got the federal government launching Homeland Security and the Pentagon against the farmers with the Rural Council. We've got the Secretary of the Army and the Council on Foreign Relations announcing 2 weeks ago they're going to put combat brigades in every major city to deal with the American people and call in airstrikes against us. This is all in the news. They came out and announced the drones for us in the last month, trying to break our will. People backlashed, so they hit the psych warfare button and had 500-plus articles the last week. I just noticed this morning, saying I'm a liar and there's no drones, no armed drones, and no drones watching farmers. They must have missed the North Dakota family arrested on their farm. They must have missed all the L.A. Times, you name it, reporting on drones and fixed-wing aircraft watching people. But they ran the hoax and even got Fox News, Megyn Kelly, to say, okay, they're watching farmers and their cows with manned aircraft. Well, in that particular case, this is a little game they play. They think you're stupid. Just like 10 years ago, their lie was there is no mercury in the vaccines. And then we told people, and others did, read the insert, demand the insert, the Marisol, mercury. Then they said, okay, the Marisol is good for you. I actually have national and local newscast. We've played it probably 200 times. I'm not going to play it again. You know what? Actually do queue up later. It'll take the mercury is good for you. It's on YouTube, CBS News. That mercury is good for children's brains. Now, mercury is the most deadly heavy metal that causes electrochemical explosions in the brain. I've had brain surgeons, neurologists. I've shown you electron microscope footage from the University of Calgary and the University in London neurosurgery, showing different, with human brain tissue in a petri dish and pig tissue, brain tissue, very similar to ours, the electrochemical explosions that happen with mercury. Now, they tell you there's no drones after saying there's drones. It's just like don't run where your friends in Mars Attacks, where they're running around with their ray guns shooting people, and they go, don't run. People stop, they shoot them, disintegrate them, and go, I mean, it's the same thing. Don't run, we are your friends. This is a standard. We've got to get that clip from Mars Attacks, where they're running around with a broadcaster going, don't run, we are your friends. Don't run, we are your friends. I mean, that's all this is. There's no checkpoints. There's no mercury in the shots. Oh, there is. It's good for you. Oh, we ship guns into Mexico to blame the Second Amendment. We have executive privilege. Oh, we didn't know about that, but we did. Oh, I mean, just crime after crime after crime after crime after crime. And now they've got EAS breaking in on cell phones, computers. It's in the news. They're testing it state by state, and it's just frying things. People are on the phone with their sick grandmother. It breaks in with an announcement from Obama. Thousands of stores and malls have huge jumbotrons saying, report your neighbors, trust no one. I mean, we've got video of it. They're just sinking us into this martial law. Hundreds of armored pillboxes for highway checkpoints. 450 million rounds of hollow point 40 cal. The Army admits they're building re-education camps, admits the document we got is real, and no news coverage of it. And we talk about it, and they cut stuff off. And then we're talking to a program director / manager earlier when Mancow's on. We're going to our next guest. And he's like, well, no, I called in, and I guess I put more of you guys on the air, but, I mean, I got a family. I'm just trying to – that's the point. You're not going to have a family if you don't stand up and fight for freedom. And I don't mean overseas fighting globalists created al-Qaeda, who they give Libya and Syria. Put the Muslim Brotherhood in and basically kill Mubarak, now that the transition's happened. He's brain dead now, right on time. They're taking over. It's happened in history over and over again. And, folks – they're putting a police state in because they're planning to fully collapse the economy. I mean, I have a Financial Times of London article we're going to cover at the start of the next hour because we have a guest we're about to go to, where documents were leaked out of the EU confirmed EU Parliament, saying we are creating a banker union. We are run by mega banks. And all the major ministers are former Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, or other mega banks. The big French bank, you name it. Société Générale, however you say it. I can't speak French. I mean, this is in your face. Banker union. How many years have I told you? It's a banker union. That's their word. A banker technocracy, where all the tech and everything you buy has smart meters wired into it to watch, listen, and control you. And now stations know this. They're getting now weekly calls, not monthly, not twice a year, to test the EAS. There's more and more break-ins, more and more announcements, more and more tattletale billboards going up, more and more militarization of police, more and more arming against us as they implode Europe and get ready to implode us here, while telling us that our economy's never been better. We're not going to get out of this without kicking them out. You understand? Because it's a planned takeover. That's how we could tell you 15, 16, 17 years ago, everything that would transpire. Now, that's enough for me on that subject. I wanted to get Dr. Peter Glidden back on because it was such a popular response, and he'll be with us for the rest of the hour. Then I'll cover news for 30 minutes and take calls. Then I've got from Rio de Janeiro, Mark Moreno of Climate Depot, former top congressional advisor. They're openly announcing world government, cutting off our resources down there. Here's the headline, UN official, Western nations don't need more cars, more TVs, whatever, needs to be paid to world government. Dr. Peter Glidden, BS-ND, naturopathic doctor, received his BS degree from the University of Massachusetts Amherst, earned his ND from University in Seattle, Washington. This is barrister or Baster. I can't read anything. I'm public school educated. Dr. Peter Glidden is an outspoken advocate of holistic health. For more than 2 decades, he's been treating people with naturopathic therapeutics, including homeopathy, heavy metal, chelation, herbal medicine, and bioidentical hormone supplementation. I'm not going to go over the whole deal, all the lectures he's given, the information he's put out. It's just amazing. His new book, The MD Emperor Has No Clothes, is a jaw-dropping expose of the shortcomings of the conventional MD-directed medicine and the unrelated excellence of holistic medical treatments, or the unrevealed. Okay, now let's just stop right there. I'm so hyped up, folks, I can barely talk right now. I'm talking 100 miles an hour because so much is happening. Obama's been caught perjuring. He's now declared executive privilege. It's shades of Nixon. All of that's going on. We've confirmed from 60 stations that Mancow's on that they're, whenever I'm on the show talking about FEMA camps, they scramble us. Again, ladies and gentlemen, when I used to just be on shortwave, they would move Voice of America over and jam us publicly, or they'd have the Chinese do it. I mean, they do not want this information getting out because it's so horrible. If people really discover their re-education camps, if they really discover this before they're able to roll it out with some new staged event, we're going to win. All right, enough from me. Again, Dr. Peter Glidden joins us to get into a host of issues. Why are we going from 1 in 25,300 with autism 30 years ago to 1 in 58? It's 1 in 40-something in South Korea. They only country with higher vaccine rates than we do. Why is obesity on the rise? What's happening? What's all this stuff about trying to ban sugar drinks and milk and popcorn, but not aspartame, GMO, the rest of it? Dr. Glidden's going to talk about all of this. Dr. Glidden, you know I'm ranting here today. What do you have to say about what I've said so far?
Alex, I'm with you 1,000%. And let me tell you something, all of this stuff that's going on right now about controlling our minds, controlling our pocketbooks, controlling everything. Well, it's been happening in the background, right? Well, I've got news for you. For the last 100 years, since 1920, since something called the Flexner Report, the exact same thing has happened in medicine, but it's happened right in front of your face. And, the best place to hide something is right in front of your face. Since the 1920s, the medical theater in the United States has been completely dominated by the MDs. Now, MDs do not own medicine. MDs are trained in one aspect of medical science and one aspect of medical science only. And that aspect of medical science is really good for surgery, for trauma. You got a bullet in your arm, you got a 3rd-degree burn, or a handful of infectious diseases, but that's it. However, they have brainwashed you and me and everybody else in this country to believe that MD-directed medicine is the only medicine for everything and everybody else is a back-of-the-bus quack. And while we have let